this is Paige with Santa Psychological, and we are here to talk about your experience with the art of business. So, do you want to give a little highlight of your business, where you're at, what you love about it, and all of that, and then we'll get into some questions.
Sounds good. Yeah. So I run Santa Psychological, which is a private counseling clinic. We run out of Calgary as well as Airdrie, and we service clients in Alberta, and we also can do virtual services in the Yukon, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick, and that's just based on our credentials. So we have 3 clinicians, including and in addition to myself, on the team, and are hoping to keep expanding a little bit into the future. And when I started with the Art of Business, which was in July 2023, I had just started growing from a team of 1, so it was just myself for a few years of solo practice. And I had just started a few months before expanding the team. So we're all psychologists or registered provisional psychologists, and we do counseling in a number of different areas like depression, anxiety, addiction, ADHD, and trauma are kind of the main areas of our expertise. So that's what we do, and that's who we are.
I love it. Thanks, Paige.
Yeah.
All right. So where were you at before the art of business? What kind of brought you to the art of business? What was that need that you had in your current state?
Yeah, so I was pretty frustrated when I came to you, actually, because I had started my own practice in 2019. And I had hired an agency kind of similar to yourself, and they were great initially. I felt like they supported small business. I was a solo practitioner, so my marketing goals weren't extraordinarily high, right? Like, I was a person of 1. I was at that point even working part-time and then transitioned to full-time. So it's not like I needed tons of new clients. So I felt like my marketing needs were pretty low, and I felt like initially they were respectful of that, and it was a pretty good fit. But then their business started to grow, which is great for them. But I think that was bad for me because I still was a solo practice. My marketing needs weren't super high, but they kept wanting to expand just the monthly fee, the reach, like they were pushing kind of for more than I felt I could provide. And so that became a parting point for me with that company. I also found that the communication just wasn't as good at the end. I didn't feel very prioritized. So that started me feeling quite frustrated.
Yeah.
I changed track, went from looking at a bigger company to do marketing to just a solo individual. I thought that might be better, a solo in practice, supporting a solo in practice.
Right.
That might work. But no, that was also quite frustrating because what ended up happening is because they're just one person, their communication wasn't great, and so they weren't very available, they weren't very responsive, and I really wanted a person or a team that I had trust in, and I just didn't feel like I had found that. And I'm pretty sure someone, I'm not sure who, but that I'd heard the name of your business in the professional stratosphere, and so I had a couple of names, did a few kind of prospective calls, and it just felt like we really clicked. I felt like you are a smaller business, and we're willing to support a smaller business and also help us grow if we wanted to. And I came to you frustrated and really looking for good communication, transparency, and support. And that's what I was prioritizing.
Perfect. And then talk about your experience with the art of business. Like, what has it been over the past year?
Yeah, it is coming up on a year, and it feels longer in some ways. So it's been only July 2023 till now. It feels a little odd because it feels like it's been longer, but it's been a really positive.
Good way though, right?
It's been a positive experience. It's been great. I really appreciate not just the results, like obviously the results are the reason that we do marketing work in the first place. But I really feel like I value the marketing, but I really need the solid communication and just a good solid company infrastructure behind that. I've even looked at, there's so many of those companies who claim they can produce really great results and really more in like a package deal, but it felt very impersonal to me, and that wasn't the infrastructure that I was looking for. So I really appreciated your guys' communication. You're always really on top of things, very responsive to things, and the results have been great. Like, you're very creative in your marketing methods. You've brought forward ideas and suggestions I certainly would have never thought of, and they've been helpful. They've really helped diversify things. And so I just look at the different layers of marketing that we have now, and that's something I've never had before. It was always very sort of one track with SEO, Google Ads, like that was sort of it. I hadn't even really considered that there were so many other different and more creative layers that you could use. And so more integration with like newsletters, the online quiz that you initiated, and just so many of those different things to like make it multi-tiered but have it all fit together has been really cool. And I know that there's so many more things we could build in. I know you have so many more ideas. It's just having the time and the resources to do that, but I'm excited for all of it.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's been really exciting watching things work, and like when it finally clicks and it's working, it's really, really neat. So that kind of brings me to like, what are some of the results? If you think about like one thing that kind of sticks to me is like your initial goals were your X amount of patients per month or new clients per month you were looking for. If you talk about like where you were to like where you are now, like what does that look like?
Yeah. So I don't actually remember specifically how many new like client bookings I was looking for when we started. I just knew I wanted to support my growing team in having the clients and the client loads that they were looking for. And I feel like we've been really successful on that quest. So I was noticing with the tracking I've been doing over the last year, unfortunately I wasn't doing much tracking before that, so I don't have a ton of before after data. That's something else you guys have brought to light. We have to start things, we have to learn.
That's good.
But the little bit of data I had, like definitely the referrals are growing, and they've really been growing more consistently, I noticed, over about the last 5-6 months. Which is what you had shared with me, that you knew the first few months would be some setup, establishing just different things, get them going, get them running. And I think things are up and running and functioning really well. So now we're sitting pretty consistently around like 20 new client bookings per month, which to support 3 clinicians who are trying to grow their caseload, but also have existing clients, seems to be working really well. And I think we have a good foundation that if we do add more people, we can grow from there. And I feel like before, back when I was just a solo person starting, maybe getting kind of 3 to 5 new clients per month kind of thing, which was more than enough for me personally, but wouldn't certainly have been enough to support a team.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thanks thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. And I really love having you as a client. It's been such an awesome experience.
Good.